think sometimes the first thing you have to start with when you're talking about downtown is, why is downtown important? Is downtown disproportionately important to our region than other areas? So I was hoping, Chris, I know with your work with Cape Fear Future, which in full disclosure I'm also involved with, maybe if you can talk a little bit about when you have any region, but specifically our region, what is the importance of having a vibrant downtown?
Sure. Well, first of all, downtown is a legacy for any community, but in particular for our community. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that what we have today is built on a lot of the things that Bill talked about, but really on the backs of our forebears and the people that came before us and our forefathers that built up what is a pretty amazing and vibrant place to live and to be. And I look around the room, and there's so many in the room tonight that have helped to make downtown what it is, and there are many that aren't with us. One in particular, if I could just take a second, I'd like to recognize my father, Charles Boney Sr., who's here with us tonight. And Dad, who helped to establish the historic district and preserve many of the buildings that are with us today that make downtown what it is. Cape Fear Future is focused on attracting the creative class, businesses and individuals into the area that we want to have to become a 21st century economy. When you look at the other communities and places that we're competing with for those jobs, one common thread in every one of those communities is a very strong, vibrant downtown urban core. It's the place where civic discussion takes place. It's the place where people come together for culture, for the arts. It has the things that businesses want to see to help attract their employees and in turn their customers to come to help build their business. So any strong community has a strong downtown. It's vital to the economic development of that region and that community. So the catalytic study that Cape Fear Future paid for several years ago looked at benchmark cities across the country. And when you look at those benchmark cities, there are places like Greenville, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Colorado Springs, Colorado. And when you go to those places and talk to people and you look at what they've got there, a strong downtown has got to be a center part of any effort that we have to enable us to move forward.
Probably the first thing that comes up with talking about downtown locally is crime downtown, the perception of crime downtown. I think, Ben, if you could start to address that, and then we can turn it over to some of the other panelists.
Absolutely. Well, from a crime fighting standpoint, we got a significant boost yesterday. The local ABC agreed to fund an additional 5 deputies, and Sheriff McMahon is here, to partner with the 5 sworn... And that's to partner with the 5 WPD officers who are going to be committed to this downtown area. So that's going to be 10 officers who are walking the beat, so to speak, in the central business district, focusing on the issues that confront us. We have over 80 permitted ABC establishments downtown. And so there are several different things we can talk about in terms of enforcement. One thing we talked about in terms of the look at these permitted establishments is something I called Operation Last Call, where 15 months ago I sent letters out to various establishments that I was concerned about. I said, listen, we're receiving a number of complaints, whether it's bar fights or underage drinking or the DWIs coming out of here. We're worried about you. Let's convene a meeting. Let's talk about this. I want to talk to your landlord. And some of them took me very seriously. Of the places that I sent those letters to 15 months ago, most of them are closed now. The ones that didn't voluntarily close, we have instituted nuisance abatement actions in an appropriate case. And I'm referring now to the Rhino Club, for instance. That was not something that we did just in a haphazard fashion. We believe in notice. We believe in a documented history. In that case, 200 911 calls since I sent that letter to the time that we had a murder downtown. What's your concept of underage drinking? A lot of you probably did that when you were under 21, right? A couple of you? And I'm not just looking at my mayor now. Did you know that we had kids as young as 16 years old at that crime scene? That's 2 in the morning on a Sunday going into a Monday. I talked to all your kids at the high schools. Many of them come up to me after I talk to them and say, can you help me out with the ticket I got downtown? Later tonight, I'm going to be at UNCW for 6 nights every June. I spend talking to all the young people who come in as incoming freshmen and do the same with Dr. McKeithen over at Cape Fear. I talk to them about their rights and responsibilities of what it means to be a citizen of this community and how they can lose not just their individual liberties, but also their spot in that school that they attend if they're coming downtown and doing the things I'm seeing. There's a real violent element that I believe that we've done a lot to address through that nuisance abatement. The ABC, the ALE who's here with the sheriff today, since we shut down that one place, violent crime has dipped 63% in the same 4 months compared to last year. And property crimes are down 22% in that same 4-month period. That's not an accident. We believe that nuisance abatement plays a big role, and so does the enforcement. And the chief who's here and the sheriff working together with those 10 officers, we believe will go a long way towards bringing the reality and the perception in line with each other, which is this is a safe place, and we need to come down here to make it the vibrant place that it is.
David, do you want to address the same issue? How do you look at the
I think,
perception?
let's put some things in perspective. And I'm coming from the position that I live downtown, I work downtown, my kids go to school downtown, most of my business interest is downtown. But my downtown is from 6 a.m. to about 10 o'clock at night. My downtown isn't 3 in the morning. When I was a kid, my father said, anywhere you are at 3 in the morning, you're probably not supposed to be. So, you're on your own, kid, if you get in trouble. But I think that what Ben's talking about, though, is something that kind of spreads out, because he never once said, the crime he's dealing with isn't from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. The crime he's dealing with is at 2 in the morning. And you're talking about a very specific demographic. No one in this room is downtown every single Friday night. I mean, you might be all the time, downtown at various times, but you're not typically somebody who's creating the problems. And I like what Ben's doing, because I believe that if you can't act right as a business owner, you get shut down. And because there's 76 other ABC permits downtown that are acting right and are contributing to our downtown. But when we're talking about downtown, I had when I first moved to downtown, and this is in the 90s, and my friends from Wilmington were freaked that I would live downtown. And, am I going to get shot in a drive-by shooting? Has anything gotten stolen from your house? I just didn't have those challenges, but the perception still prevails. What's interesting, though, is when people do go downtown, they find not only the vibrancy and the interest and the culture and the chance meetings and the encounters, but as a business person, what you don't want to occur is you don't want what's happening at 2 in the morning to undermine the hard work that you do to grab those jobs and grab those tourists and draw those people to our downtown. So, again, my perspective, I'm not somebody who worries about crime. I'm worried about somebody who sees that crime starts to undermine the hard work that everyone else is doing to enhance our community.
Bill, so PPD is the largest employer downtown. Do you have a sense of, folks who work there, do they want to live downtown? Are they living downtown? What is crime an issue? What are the issues to even further integrate PPD and the employees to the life downtown?
Well, look, PPD has historically been a strong supporter of the downtown, and we're going to continue to be a strong supporter of the downtown. As one of the largest employers, or the largest employer here, our commitment is important. And, we want to do everything we can to support the mayor and the district attorney, especially with the Blue Ribbon Commission, for example. Regardless of what we do downtown and the investments we make, we need to have the surrounding neighborhoods, right, be the kinds of places that are enhancers of the downtown. Because at the end of the day, there was a question asked, should we invest disproportionately in the downtown? And my answer to that is resounding yes. Why? Because I can tell you as a business, from hearing from our employees, when we bring customers in, when we're trying to attract knowledge workers and talent and grow our company, when people come here, and customers and clients come here all the time and recruits, their vision of Wilmington is the downtown. As the mayor said, the downtown is the magnet for the surrounding Tri-County area, perhaps even further. So when someone says, what do you think of Wilmington? They immediately think about the downtown. Yeah, they might have had a great time at the beach, right? They may have done something really fun, but at the end of the day, our community is characterized by Wilmington, by the downtown. So, obviously it has to be safe. That is one of the key foundational pillars to make the downtown the kind of place that is going to help our business grow and is ultimately going to be able to attract the kind of talent we need and other companies. So, of course, it's critically important, and we will continue to support the Blue Ribbon Commission, and leaders in our company will get personally involved in that part of town and that particular endeavor and many others.
Well, one of the criticisms I've heard of downtown, or the observations, is that if you live here and you've been downtown, you've walked through the historic district, you've gone to the Battleship, what are the things to do? If you're a family living here, what are the things to do downtown on a regular weekend with your family? And assuming we could do better, what would you like to see?
A lot, but I also want to recognize our county commissioners, because one of the things we've been just talking about, crime, those folks, the chairman, the vice chairman, and all the county commissioners, we had a meeting, and they have also helped us because they look at this as a regional partnership, and they have helped us with the Sheriff's Department, with the ALE, with the ABC Commission, and this is a joint effort by a lot of different folks, not just the city of Wilmington and the District Attorney's Office. So I have to recognize those folks, and thank you, Chairman Barfield, for everything you folks have done in helping us to combat the issues downtown. Going to what you just said, there's a lot of things to do. In fact, I was driving home the other night at 10 or 11 o'clock, and there was a bunch of people walking down the street, and I said, what in the world? And I pulled over, and I said, what in the world are you people doing? There was a huge crowd of young kids. And he says, we're on a ghost walking tour. I says, so, there's something constantly happening downtown in respect to, if you want to go see the snakes. God help us if those snakes get loose there in this town, because I'm leaving. Whether it's the Battleship, whether it's taking a tour on the carriages, or just walking down into the historic district, or frequenting the bars late at night. There's something always happening downtown. I'd like to see some things happen, and of course, one of the things that I've seen, and I saw this in Asheville, is some sort of a first-class open space or park, which is what I think we really need downtown. I think one of the last large public investments that we're going to need to make as a community is a commitment to put a first-class open space downtown. Now, whether that be right on the river, or wherever that may be. I mean, we've purchased some property for a park in the future. But I will tell you that I have had some very good conversations with the mayor of Asheville, Terry Bellamy. And in Asheville, the city of Asheville had the land, and it's called Pack Park. And she told me, she says, we didn't have the money to put a $20 million park here. We just didn't. We had the land, but we didn't have the money. And it would have taken Asheville probably 10 years, maybe 15 years to put Pack Park into place. But what happened was the business community, the stakeholders, the citizens came together and raised $17.5 million on their own, because they thought and they felt it was very important to their community and to their city. And they made it happen. And if you go downtown Asheville and you see what they have done with this magnificent tiered park, and at the end, believe it or not, in front of City Hall is a splash pad with thousands of kids running around in front of, getting wet, which I like to see in front of City Hall actually sometimes. But that is something we need. And we're going to need you, the business community, to step up and help us with this, because the city could do it, but it could take 10 years, it could take 15 years, who knows? But if the business community, the stakeholders, the citizens of this community feel it's important to them, then we need to create this partnership where we all come together, start raising that money and do it. And that will make it happen very fast.